everyone. You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels, use high-tech sound effects, and crack each other up. First, let's shout out a special patron. Cora C. You were descended from Minerva, the Roman goddess of defensive warfare, justice, poetry, wisdom, weaving, trade, medicine, crafts, and more, but at this point I'm too tired to soldier on. You come from a long lineage of multitaskers and jacks of all trade, but you also manage to master those you're most passionate about. Minerva had her trusty owl, which symbolized wisdom and knowledge, and through the generations, that has evolved into a keen awareness of your surroundings. Even though you can't turn your head 270 degrees, not many situations can catch you unawares. I want to say a huge thank you to each and every one of our Patreon supporters. You seriously keep the show going, so thank you. Okay, also, I am thrilled beyond words to tell you that we're within reach of our goal of 1,000 ratings on Apple Podcasts. We would love to break 1,000 reviews by the end of 2021, so if you have access and you haven't yet, please rate us. You don't even have to write anything. Of course you can, and it makes my day, but ratings will super help. Do you have a friend with an iPhone? Go ahead and screw up their podcast algorithm by grabbing it and rating us from their phone. We're still doing the bribe, so rate us 5 stars and we'll add your rec to our long list of future episodes. And now, we have our annual Veterans Day event. That's right, it's time for our action-packed elite military romance. So buckle in for Mission, Her Protection, by Anna Hackett.
Hello.
We're here. Oh, hey, Erin.
Hello.
How are you?
Were you ever a cheerleader?
No. Oh, God, no.
Well, it's just, it seems like instinctually that's how you start episodes sometimes. Like when we don't have any banter and we have nothing to talk about, it's like, oh, okay.
How could you possibly
You asked me if I had any
kind of jazz
banters.
Hand situation.
Oh, I see. Yes, you. Yeah.
I don't know. Listener,
Melody.
I feel like she's telling tales on me. Out of school.
I am. And it's that you default to cheerleading?
Yee! Oh my gosh.
Hello.
Erin, it's time. It's our
time.
Veterans Day episode. One of my favorite days of the fucking year.
Oh, it's our Veterans Day episode. We did it.
It's here.
I chose this book.
Yeah. And I am obsessed with this book.
It's nonstop. It doesn't stop.
It's everything. But do you have something to say about military romance?
Oh, I realized something while reading this book. I think
me.
there are 4 kinds of military romances.
Ooh.
Also, whilst choosing a book.
Okay.
4 kinds. Now what I'm going to do is remember the kinds.
Enumerate them for us.
As a scientist in 2022,
Correct.
I've categorized, my hypothesis is there are 4 kinds of military romances.
She's so sexy right now.
I know, I'm doing pretty good. One of them is like the small town, like Christian inspirational. The sergeant's secret baby.
The kind I don't like.
The major's new wife. You know, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
There's always like a baby on the cover and he's always like in uniform having a picnic, which is like a strange phenomenon. Another one is when there's like a PTSD man who's haunted by the ghosts of his past.
Yeah.
And then he needs the love, the soft touch of a woman to make him more happier again. Sometimes those two are the same ones, but also sometimes not.
Yeah.
Okay. The third kind is a Navy SEAL
Yes.
romance.
Right.
Period. Cut and
Period,
dry.
the
You
end.
got that SEAL team, the end.
That's it.
And then the fourth type is a paranormal.
Yee!
And the paranormal creature in question is the like pseudo military man who like was military or is, but is like military plus in some way.
Oh.
Like the one Cole and I read.
Like flirting with super soldiers.
Like a special team of something or, you know, and like in this one, there's like straight up magic, but there's like nothing they can't do, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I think sometimes the seal ones cross into that.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Prince Joe
crossed a little bit with his tiny sleeves. But yeah, I think that I'm starting to think that these like seal romances and these like paramilitary secret special ops romances are paranormals. They're paranormals. These guys are werves. Like, they run fast, they're impervious, they can have sex with you against a cave wall with 2 gunshot wounds in their torsos.
In the abdomen.
They're not real life.
You're right.
And I mean, I would argue that the PTSD man who's soft and or hard and sullen and needs the touch of a soft woman is also not real life. None of these are real life. They're not. None of them are real. But yeah, that's what I've decided. These are paranormals.
Wow.
Don't you think?
I really like that, actually, because it helps explain so much.
Everything.
Like,
the whole thing.
These bitches are literally jumping off of buildings. And they're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine.
They're in a secret special team.
I can't wait. I can't wait anymore. We have to talk about it because I've been losing my mind. This book was everything I needed this week. And
I'm glad.
Super know why. Yeah. I just needed like an action-packed, oh, we're doing it. We're in it. We don't need explanations.
This thing never stopped and never ended.
So good.
It never stopped and never ended. It ended so many times and it never stopped.
Right. And I didn't want it to. I got to the actual last page and I was like, no. Okay, so we have got Rowan. Rowan is a scientist and she's in the Arctic.
She's an Arctic scientist. I can't really understand what is her deal because she does have PhDs in biology, hydrology. She's a big science.
Yeah, she's a full science.
But her role in this archaeological ice mission is to just like
team leader.
keep everybody safe, be the team leader.
Head administrator.
But
you have enough socks?
She's not archaeology, she's not ice mission, she's not security.
Well, there are hydrologists there.
Right.
So, like,
But
I don't know if she's supposed to like pinch hit or something. Like,
she's
I don't
not doing like she's not doing science.
No, she's making brownies and making sure like food gets there and everybody's warm.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like she'll go out on the ice with them on the glacier. They're on a 5,000-year-old glacier, everyone.
Hey, it's 5,000 years old. Did you know how old? 5,000. It's mentioned 25 times in this book. But yeah, it just like, how did you get job? What was resume? Like, I don't.
Right?
Keep everyone alive was her job description several times. My job is to keep everyone safe and alive. And it's like, what?
She did a really bad job.
She failed bad. Because you guys, in like the first 10 pages, everyone dies except for Rowan.
Listen, okay, here's the thing. There are rules, okay? There are rules to nature. All right. And one of them is if you are on an archaeological dig, usually in the jungle or in the ice, you find a weird doohickey.
When the doohickey gets found, don't touch it.
Everybody's going to die. Don't touch that doohickey. You will awaken something that will murder everyone.
Right. Yes.
That's just the rules.
Yes.
Okay? And that's what they do. They're out on this thing and they're doing a hack and a ping into the ice, you know, and they're doing that. And then one of the guys is like, what in the world could this be? Ding! Yeah.
Because it's metal.
Tank. They're like, I didn't think that the pre-Dorsets or the Dorsets, which were the people that likely lived in that area at that time.
Didn't look it up. Metals. Didn't want to.
Neither did I, because I trust these scientists, okay? That's what you have to do in the scientific community.
I trust this book to be accurate.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody wouldn't. So they're like, there's a medal, and it's a weird, and it looks like there might be a writing on it or something. This is odd. What are we going to do with it? We should take it back to our very secure base, which is the only thing keeping us alive, this base.
Yes.
With the domes and the technologies and stuff.
Yes.
So they do take it back. They have like a lovely dinner together. Everybody's asking her
You
like,
know
what
what's nuts?
chocolate thing that please tell me everything.
They find this doohickey
Yeah.
lodged in a 5,000-year-old glacier. 5,000 years, guys.
It's 5,000 years old.
5,000 years ago, there wasn't metal, or like they didn't use metal, or they
Right.
didn't have... Listen, it's an impossible artifact that's in there.
It shouldn't be there.
And they bring it back. They just kind of leave it somewhere. They throw it somewhere in the thing.
They throw it in like a petri dish, in a crate, in the corner. No big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They do
Like
take a few snaps of it.
Yeah, they put some
pictures.
of that dry mossy stuff. You guys, it's like what the Ark of the Covenant was in. Mossy stuff, they nail it shut, okay?
Tell me
no, they
yes.
didn't do that because she takes it out later. But anyway,
If only.
so they like have dinner and start talking about like chocolate. And then like they get like fucking obsessed with some plants that are growing in a petri dish. It's like the paleobotanist is all like psyched about these plants that are growing, and it's like,
I mean, I
guys,
would be too.
Sure, but not in the way that I fucking forget about the impossible artifact with writing on it that like the most... They're talking about aliens and shit. Like Lars was like, maybe it's aliens.
Maybe
and then
it's
they go
aliens.
back and they're like, plants, am I right?
Yeah.
It was nuts to me.
It was crazy. So Lars is this adorable scientist who has a crush on Rowan. Rowan is a pale skin with an auburn red hair.
Curvy butt.
And curvy. She got a booty on her. Mm-hmm. And she's the administrator of the land. So he's like, hey, do you want to go check out that really weird, cool artifact with me? Like, maybe it'll get us a little bit aroused. And she's like, actually, I have so many paperworks. Gotta go.
Yep.
So she's just like doing paperwork. She's eating her chocolate because this lady is me. Sorry.
Loves the chocolate. That's one of her primary character traits, I'm going to say.
Also one of mine.
Loves
It's a
chocolate.
pillar of my personality.
Sure.
Is come with chocolate or don't come. So anyway, she is doing all that, and then suddenly there's a scream and a roar and a crash and a bang and a
There's Matlax in the camp. That's all I could think.
in the camp. Me too.
That's all I could think.
My note is, did Lars get turned into a killer ice yeti by the artifact? Who knows? So she goes to like check things out because she's like, this sounds like somebody might be dying. And that is my only job right now.
Right.
Is
Stop
to make
it.
sure people
Stop
don't
it when
die.
there's people dying.
Don't die.
Don't
do it.
Mm-mm.
Stop. You're trying.
Stop dying. But unfortunately, when she gets there, everyone did already die. Big.
Everyone's dead.
They are all
big dead die.
Flash frozen, solid. Some of them are hanging. Some of them are like slumped. You guys, graphic descriptions of everyone on the base having died. And there is, I forget his name, but there is a scientist who was like actively trying to put out a distress call when he died.
He did get flash frozen.
Yes, but maybe he got the call out.
Who knows? Really is the question.
So then she
sees
does she see the monster, or is it just like dark?
She sees
I don't
like
remember.
a flash, and like a swoosh, and then she's like, I gotta go hide.
She rips some shelves off the wall and tries to hit him with it. Yeah, the shelf.
Yeah. Or maybe she just rips it off and then gets behind there. Listen, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't remember.
But then Emily comes out and she's like, Emily. And Emily's like, turns around to see her and then she's like, no! And then she watches Emily get picked up and just like whooshed down the hallway, never to be seen again except for her corpse. Yeah. So then Rowan's like, no! And she goes running after Emily because she's probably the only one left to save, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then she does find her hanging from some sort of trapeze. Yeah. Dead.
There's spider webs of ice sticking out of the ceiling.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot like remember when there was Men in Black and then there was that guy stuck to the ceiling with like slime?
I do remember that.
It was like that, but it was ice.
But ice. Yeah. Frozen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she sees like a two-legged Yeti Iceman. Yeah. And it's huge. It's giant. Yeah. It's a Matlax. So she does hide again. Yeah, it's a Matlax. There's Matlax in this camp.
But not as stinky.
Not as stinky. Also, doesn't use sign language.
No.
Is Metlack. Okay.
Correct. I didn't know that was a trait of Metlack's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
no, we don't have the time. No, we don't have time.
Sorry, you're right. So, I'll tell you later.
Now we've clipped to
Las Vegas. Oh, it's Vegas, baby.
Yeah. Who lives in Las Vegas. He's just gotten home from a big mission. He did
deadly mission.
Used to do reconnaissance teams in the Marines. He's very lethal, man.
He's so lethal that he stops a robbery in progress on like page 3 that we meet him.
And you know what? I appreciate romance giving a little bit of love to a non-SEAL special ops sort of person.
I hear you.
Anyway,
I hear you.
So he like stops the robbery in like a real cool way, like
oh man, super
just
badass.
like walks past the robbery and like gets some beers and like cracks one open and like drinks one and then like stops the robbery with like one hand and then's like, what do I owe you for the beer? And then like leaves. Like he's a lot, okay. And then like there's like some sexy girls who are like, woo, we're going to the strip because we have a bachelorette party. Woo, God. And then he's like,
and he looks into their eyes.
I don't want to go. And they're like, oh, we're scared by your eyes. Because he has like yellow eyes. Yes, I did not like this part of the book. I did not like his tiger eyes. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it.
I liked it. It was hilarious to me.
Did not.
Especially since like half the time when the heroine is describing him, she's like, his eyes are fucking terrifying. Okay? And like, I think I might be the only person on the planet that isn't actively afraid of him.
But like, what do they look like? Like, try to imagine it in real life. Like, if he were a werv, I'd be like, whatever. But like real life,
he looks like one of those panthers from True Blood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be a man, just a man.
Maybe they're like yellow, but they mostly look like Tiger's Eye the Stone. You know, like a little bit of an amber brown.
I've just never seen this in nature.
This
does not exist.
It does in here. Okay, this is an alternate fucking universe of paranormal military. I know,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, okay.
No, you're right.
All right. Okay.
So then he gets a call, and his best friend Blair is like, hey, we are going to the Arctic.
New
We're
mission.
leaving now. New missions.
Yeah.
So they go there, and their job is to, like, get something and also, like, see what happened, kind of. And so they get there, they see all the death. They're like, oh my God, that's a lot.
So,
like something weird.
You know, but also like not a lot to do. Bag them up, you know, like
bag them, tag them. Let's find whatever did this.
Somebody did say bag them and tag them and let's find the artifact.
And then Lachlan's walking around and he hears
something.
like a
Oh, he just senses it. He just
senses.
Something sets his senses on edge and he spins a little circle and he's like, something's weird and wrong. My true love might be near. And then my fated mate might be around here somewhere. And then he hears something. He tells everybody go on. He's just going to like look a little more for the artifact. Cause that's what's weird. They pull out all the dead people and they're like, okay, let's hit the road and look for the artifact. And it's like, look for it.
Yeah. You gotta like scour the place.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look, there's drawers.
Jesus
look in
Lord.
drawers. Anyway, whatever. So he's like, I'm going to look for this artifact a little bit. And then he hears a scuttling, a scurrying. And then he opens up a cabinet. And then she's there and she's like,
the gun does come out.
Because he's wearing his Arctic gear, his white cold weather gear.
Yeah. So he might be a Yeti.
Right. And
he might
she
be a
comes at him.
Yeti. She does fall on top of him, question mark?
Yeah, she falls on top of him. He gets her in his lap. Yeah, he's into it.
He's like, she's sturdy, I think he calls her at one point, or solid.
Think he puts her in like a headlock until she drops the gun.
God,
he like
might.
hurts her somehow because he's like, he didn't want to hurt her, but he needed her to drop the gun.
Listen, there are things that have to happen.
It was hot.
Know?
So
it was hot.
I would say that she's stressed out.
It's been a rough day.
She's had a tough couple of days at work.
What is a lady to do?
Everyone she does know is dead from Monster.
And she's been freezing in that fucking cabinet for like 16 hours.
Yes, and minimum. It was job of hers to not have them be dead.
Yeah, and like job of dreams, sort of.
Yeah.
Like it was the first time she like sort of struck out on her own because she's got these awful parents. Boy, does she have some awful parents.
She does, like kind of like unbelievably awful parents.
Totally.
So they do a little schnurfle. She does a lot of tremble. She does a lot of like, they're dead, oh my God. And he does a lot of like, I have you. You're safe.
Yeah, but meanwhile, simultaneously, he's thinking like, I am never good at a comfort. I've never known how to do a comfort in my life.
I don't understand affection.
I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it instinctually.
In his internal monologue in the first chapter, when he did see those sluts on the strip, just walking around looking for dick, he had a thought of like the only girl he ever was tender toward was a red-haired young lady in a treehouse.
In a treehouse, she was 10.
Back in the 13. Day before his father killed himself.
And in her first chapter, she was like, I got my love of chocolates from that boy next door who was 13 when I was 10. And
you guys,
boy, we were the bestest of friendses. And
you're not going to fucking believe this. Lachlan is that guy. And Rowan is that girl from that treehouse growing up.
No fucking way.
It's nuts.
It's bonkers.
Because what a coincidence.
Yeah. Especially since they had just been on each other's minds, you know?
Yes.
Erin?
Yeah.
Like, weird shit's happening in this universe.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wow. So he takes her out to like see the team and he's like doing a patch up on her or like maybe he's putting a blanket on her. He's doing something like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, Lachlan?
Lachlan,
your last name? And he's like, how would you know what my last name is?
It's me.
Like, it's me. It's Rowan. This guy. 2 thumbs. Rowan. This guy. And he's like, oh my gosh, who would think that scrawny little redhead would turn into such a busty, assy, auburn red-haired lady.
Yeah. What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's impressed. And she's also like, abs. Also, she has a big competency boner for his whole deal. Because he's big, I think.
Listen, he's big. He seems very safe.
Yes.
Like, it's been a little unstable in Rowan land for a few hours. And he's just come in and been like, we're taking care of it. We're going to do this thing. So she does try to ask a few questions about like who they are and what the fuck they're doing there and how they knew and how do you have pictures of the artifact that we found already? I don't understand.
But also Erin wonders that a little bit because it wasn't that 5,000-year-old ice. So did they just think that it existed based on history? Was it painted on a cave wall? And then...
Listen,
yes?
In my noodle town over here, I thought mayhaps that because she did email those pictures to her friend, the archaeologist, anthropologist ? So I think that they're doing a hack. All over the nation, all over the world. They know where all the digs are, and they're just hacking them hard all the time. So then they saw this thing with weird writing on it, and they're like, deploy the team, get the fuck out of here.
I should probably say now
also, distress call.
If I missed things in this book, I'm not going to be surprised. Because every time something happened, I was like, wait, where are they? What are they doing? Because it was so fast. It's only a 200-page book, and so much shit happens. And so I would find myself kind of zoning out. Not because the writing was bad or anything. No. I just kind of had a busy week. And I would kind of find myself, like, straying from it. And then I'd be like, wait, they're in Nevada again? Like, what's happening? She's at a casino? What a glass ceiling? What's happening? Like, a lot of that. Yeah. So I may have missed a couple details.
Listen, it's fine. I listened to this thing twice. I needed it in my body, and I put it there. Okay. So, now.
So now they've got to go. But then there's an attack. Oh, no.
No, they go out and find it. They go trudging. They're like, we're going to trudge in the snow. And then there is that attack.
There is an attack.
So this 7 foot tall fucking ice yeti.
I know exactly how tall this boy is.
Tell me everything.
Because I thought this was fucking, this is peak romance, friends. This guy that comes at Lachlan is 6.5 feet tall, the author says. My God, so tall. Okay.
That's nothing. What?
Yeah. But I mean, that's what the author says. 6.5 feet is the monster. And then it's like Lachlan, who is only 6'2". It wasn't, was outmatched. And I just loved that was like, hero, very tall.
like supernatural monster.
Taller, but don't think hero short. Yeah. Like monster tall, but hero not short, you know?
Well, and also, like, let's go back to your paranormal hypothesis.
Right.
The supernatural giant monster situation is, like, only a tiny bit stronger than the hero.
Right.
You know? Like, only a teensy bit bigger.
Right. Oh, I loved it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait, I'm so sorry. We have to go back and just tell them what they do. Because he does tell them. So listen, they're called Team 52. And they are basically the National Treasure Covert Ops team.
Right.
Like if National Treasure had a SEAL team. Or like if, what's that book with the Da Vinci's? The Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code.
If they had a covert ops team, that's
right.
what these guys do.
Well, so this author had a whole series about the treasure hunter team that they sometimes correspond with. And then Team 52 sometimes, like, I think overlapped a little bit, came in and did security, and then she spun off with Team 52. Which Team 52, which Lachlan is on, he's the Marine. There's also a Air Schmerv and a CIA and a Blur and a...
Yeah, all those.
There's a scientist and a blah, blah, blah. Oh, we forgot to mention that Lachlan has one arm.
Oh my god. He has a cyborg arm.
When it was first mentioned, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's our Veterans Day romance. We have a disabled veteran.
Right. No.
Fucking idiot. Because this cyborg arm is like so much better than a regular arm. It's like Archer shit. It's like connected to all his nerves, which is even funnier to me because he's in a paramilitary organization, right? Like, this is a separate organization, but it's still run by Department of Defense in some way, right?
Well, sure. They report to one guy who reports directly to the president.
Well, and this is the other thing. I said this in the Cole episode, but it's like, authors, listen up. Hey, authors,
everybody.
Military romance, paranormal military romance. You don't want your team to report directly to the president.
No.
You want your team to be so secret the president can't know. That's what you want. If the president knows, you're not doing that cool of stuff. Okay? All right. Anyway, so I was like, ooh, a disabled veteran. And then it was like magic science. And the thing that's crazy is their organization is still a U.S. government organization. So he got kicked out of the Marines for blowing himself up with this grenade. And I won't hear it any other way, because that's exactly what fucking happened. He blew himself up with a grenade, blew his own arm off, and then the Marines was like, sorry, you can't be in the Marines with one arm.
Marine now.
And then the U.S. government also said, here's this cyborg arm, be in this better organization. Why can't Lachlan just stay Marines?
Why can't Marines have cyborg arms?
I don't understand. Anyways.
Wow.
I also want to say, Team 52 is so hot. Everyone in this book is so hot.
It's so fucking sexy.
And described to minute detail.
Oh. Yeah.
I want to read about Seth.
Did you get to the chapter with Seth and his book?
Oh, is that the one that's the spin-off chapter?
It has to be, right?
I didn't read it.
I didn't read it
because I knew what it was. I'm sorry, I'm a big dummy. I knew it was just setting up the next book, so I didn't read it.
I only say you dummy because I think you, Erin, specifically would fucking love it.
I agree. I was reading it and I was like, smart, sad, quiet boy with scars on his face? I like this.
Yeah. And I have never, ever been so potently aroused by two people who hate each other.
We don't need to. Why do you keep doing this?
I have never been so potently intrigued.
Sure.
By two people who, like, based on their hate and their hate banter, like their interaction ends with her like stepping right up to his toes and like being an inch away from his face and saying, "You're an asshole." Okay, and then he gets a little bit closer to her and he says, "You're a bitch."
Okay, yeah. Here's something, Melody. I love it when they call him a bitch. I love it. It's my favorite thing. When St. Vincent did it, I love it. I don't know what broke inside of me. I don't know why.
Fine. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, let's do it for Patreon or something.
HBs, I have to scream for a minute about a wonderful company for all of your romance and BTS merch. I know a ton of you love both. It's called Literary Souvenirs. Prashita and Devisha are two sisters and fangirls who create beautiful designs for apparel, enamel pins, acrylic keychains, handmade resin bookmarks, coasters, jewelry, and so much more. Seriously, they do it all. They just released brand new designs for HB favorites like Neon Gods and The Love Hypothesis. Plus, they have a History Huh shirt from Red, White, and Royal Blue that I currently have in my cart, and a stunning From Blood and Ash enamel pin. I'm going to link their Etsy and social media pages for individual orders, but I also need to rave about my experience with their custom design and bulk ordering. Jenny and I decided to have enamel pins made for the first 100 supporters of Bonkers Romance, and Prashita and Devisha went above and beyond. Not only did they do a beautiful custom design of our I Went Bonkers First pins, but working with them was a dream. They were so responsive and accommodating, and they did an amazing job keeping us updated during the production process. I cannot recommend them enough for any of your custom needs. And also, you can get any of the current merchandise in bulk. Just let them know what you want. So, go support this small, woman-owned family business by following Literary Souvenirs on social media and checking out the goods on Etsy. You won't regret it.
Okay, so what's happening? So we got Big Monster Boy.
Shit.
And then they fight.
So listen. Yeah, they fight, and then Callie, the medic, does shoot him with darts. And he goes down. And Rowan, who is there, says, Lars! Because it is a Lars.
That monster is Lars.
And the device is on his chest.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like embedded in his chest. So he goes down. He's sedated. Done. And they're like, I wonder if I could just like, and like take it out of him. And so they're like, great. And then he starts like shriveling back up into a nerdy man. What's up?
Where were tranquilizer darts for rest of book?
They
seems like would have been handy.
They were there the whole time. They just like never worked again, which I found to be hilarious.
Why did they work on Lars and not this other lady that becomes the monster?
I think because he is a nerdy man and she is a soldier with a heart of gold.
Whoa. Let's back it up. Happy Veterans Day. She's an airman, okay? Back it up a little bit.
Thank you.
She's not a soldier, okay?
She's an airman, and she's also teensy bit of a traitor, but we haven't gotten there yet.
And so, I'd like to say hello to Susan, who's listening. Happy Veterans Day.
Hello, Susan. We love you.
Every time I make fun of the Air Force, I think of her on the show. Anyway, she's an airman and a traitor. She's not a soldier. Okay,
You're right. Okay, so now
not Susan, this lady on the thing.
Correct. Susan would never be traitorous to anything. She is the most pure, wonderful, the best, and I fucking love her.
All right, keep going. Man, this episode's off the rails.
We gotta get it. Okay. Love it.
Lars fell down. He shriveled up.
So meanwhile, okay, or I should say erstwhile, or I should say like right before this, Lars did do a scrape across Lachlan's chest, and so he's got scrapes, okay, and blood. And he's like, ice is running through my veins or whatever, which I have a bone to pick about later, but we'll get to that. Okay. So they go back to the Schmer, and they're in the medic bay, and Callie's like trying to she's trying to patch him up. And she's like, I'm going to give you some...
This is a big, I'm going to heal you scene, which is hilarious because the medic's like right there.
She's right outside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But Rowan's like, let me lick your wounds.
Yeah.
I need to help you.
Almost literally. Mm-hmm. So she is doing a bandage on him, and they sort of have like like an interrupted romance moment, because as she is tending his wounds, she starts staring into his tiger eyes, and then he like puts her hair and he caresses her hair, and then Callie comes in and she's like, how's the patient? And you're like, Callie, what a dick. And it's not the last time this is going to happen. So now they're in a jet copter. Is that real?
I don't
know
about it.
Hey, Erin, get at us.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. I didn't feel like it was real,
it.
but it probably is.
Let me Google it up.
And so they're in this jet copter and they're leaving, and they have the artifact. They have Rowan, the sole survivor, and they do have all of those body bags, and they have Lars on a stretcher. His organs might be failing. We really don't know. So now she's been traumatized. Okay. And he can see that. And so he's like,
it's
trying
real.
to talk her through it. Great.
I know nothing about aircraft. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's real.
You can only be incredibly good at so many things, Erin.
Exactly 4 things. There it is. The jet copter. Okay.
So, okay, his whole team is there also. Like, they do so many schnurfles in front of his entire Team 52. It's so weird.
There was one sex scene where I thought it was in front of all of them. He must have fucked
and then
off.
I had to, like, go back.
Yeah,
and, like, I realized that they had left.
Was it the one where
like,
she was on top and she had her hands on his chest?
Yes.
Yes, me too.
Yes.
I thought they were all there.
And the one with the wall. The wall one. Because
I knew they weren't there for that.
Just gotten back. No, that was one of the ones. I was like, I swear to Christ, they're like on the comms outside. I don't know. Okay, anyway. So he can see she's being a big traumatized. And so he pulls her into his lap. He's like, I don't know why I would ever do this. I'm not a comfort.
Yes.
But I just feel like I need to do this.
Unbuckle her seatbelt to do that.
Right.
And when you are in a jet copter, you stay in your seat and in your seatbelt.
There's like a harness, I'm sure of it.
Yes. Helicopter's very dangerous. Please
They're
don't
very
do that.
dangerous.
Please don't unbuckle people for a schnurfle. Wait until you land.
Jesus. You'd think he'd know that of all people.
Bing, boom, bong, bird click.
Yeah. Anyway, he does pull her into his lap, and she, like, goes, and then she just, like, snuggles right into his chest. And
would you
the rest
believe
of
that
his
she's
team,
the perfect size to fit against him?
Oh, my God. Like, it was so surprising to me.
Yeah.
Erin?
I was like, what? Finally, a book where she's the perfect size to fit right against him. My God.
I've been waiting for this my whole romance reading career.
Her head just goes right to his shoulder. Finally.
If only.
Hundreds of books, and finally we found one. Anyway.
So then she's like, what the F? What is that? Why are you here? What's going on? Tell me about National Treasures. And so he's like, well,
because she thought that he was a military man.
Yes.
And now she's like, wait a minute.
Right.
Carry the one. I'm a biologist. I'm a science man. There is things. And then she's like, oh, you're not military. This is something different. And he's like, we're something different. I don't know why the government would have a secret special organization to protect the secrets of ancient artifacts. Like, that just seems like something people should be able to know about.
No,
really? Unless there's
too dangerous. It's Area 52 things. It's like Area 51, but right next door.
I think maybe once we found out artifact is maybe weapon, maybe.
Yeah, maybe then hide it.
But it also seemed like he was guarding the secrets that, like, various ancient civilizations existed at all.
Yes.
And that doesn't seem like something that needs to be a secret from the public.
I was really... Okay, I'm glad you were also confused about that, because he's like, you know how you learned history in all of your
history is
science
wrong.
Classes?
The American government knows real history. Okay.
Okay.
And they're hiding it. I mean, they are hiding it.
They're always hiding it.
It's a different kind of history that they know and are hiding.
Yeah.
They're talking about a different, even older kind of history that the American government knows and is hiding.
He's like, yeah, we found digs that are 250,000 years old, maybe. And also 12,000 years old and stuff. And she's like, what? Like, older than Sumer? No. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, nobody knows about it except, like, a select few scientists and then us.
Why?
Us machine gun wielding Black Ops.
What's the reason?
I don't know. And so he's like, this is going to be dangerous because you know who would love to get their hands on this? And she's like, terrorists? And he's like, yeah. And also
terrorists. I was like, wait.
And warlords.
He's...
So good.
Why, though? Why would warlords want to get their hands on the fact that ancient
Erin,
civilizations...
You have to wait for the villain speech at the end, honestly.
But then shouldn't they have had to wait for the villain speech at the end? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine.
So they go to Area 52, which is right next door to Area 51.
Right next
but it's
door.
where the actual secrets are.
Well,
and so they're hiding in plain sight.
This makes a lot of sense to me.
It does.
Not that it's called Area 52.
No.
Because that's stupid.
Silly.
I mean, maybe colloquially, that would be a fun name.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing at Area 51.
No. All right. So now, when they get to that base, he offers her a hot shower, and she says, she's like, oh my God, I will bear your firstborn child if I can have a hot shower. And suddenly, he's like completely erect.
He's like, pregnancy? That makes me horny.
Yeah, he's like, wow, it's not only the idea of what makes a baby, but it's also like, whoa, getting her all filled up with my virile sperms. He's very excited about it. So anyway, she does shower, is really the point of that. And then she calls her mom, and he overhears the conversation, and he's like super mad about it because her mom doesn't care that she almost died and that everybody else died. All she cares about is that Rowan's like quote unquote failed mission will reflect badly on her mom's scientific academic career.
How? Like in what way?
But what? Yeah. I mean, I think it's just because her mom is just like a flaming narcissist. Yeah. And so everything reflects back on her. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay. So now she gets cleared to go home. And he's going to go tell her that. So she's sitting in the caf. And he sits down right next to her. And then as they talk, he's like, I don't know what instinct is making me do this, but I lean a little bit closer and I do put my arm around her chair. And then she leans into his chest and then she puts her hand under his shirt. Is this a casual gesture that you've just, done?
I do it all the time.
Men,
with coworkers and friends.
People at the grocery store.
Yeah, all my male friends. You can ask them all. Totally. I just slide a hand right up under.
Right up in there.
The thing is, they're fated mates, and the thing is, they do also have a familiarity from childhood. When he unbuckled her seatbelt, jeopardizing her safety on a jet copter, which I just learned existed and sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
He was thinking about how she says like, "Oh, I never fall apart. I never cry. And he's like, she used to cry all the time. You used to cry all the time when we were kids. Like, and she's like, not after you left. And he's like, oh, because she didn't have anyone to hold her.
I couldn't be vulnerable in front of anyone. And then he like holds her and he's like, let it out. Let it out. Put it into my chest.
Yeah.
It's
so,
great.
I mean, there was a certain amount of holding back in the day.
Fair.
Is all I'm saying.
Fair. I just thought it was bold.
It is. It was bold, but I liked it.
So then he says her name and she looks up with her big blue eyes and there's heat in them. I'm thinking because she has her hands right on his abs. Heat. Erin and I are making sexy faces at each other.
Yeah, that's my sexy face.
Yeah.
Heat.
And so he sees that heat in her eyes and then he leans down and he just plants one on her. And then all of a sudden he's like, I thought it would be sweet, but it just becomes like needy and hot. And then she gets up and just like straddles him on a chair in the middle of the cafeteria.
People are around.
Of a military base.
Yes.
Okay? And she's like full on like grinding up on him. And he's got his hand like in her hair and on her waist and stuff. And then somebody's like, sorry, here I am. I'm Brooks and I'm here to give you confidentiality agreements that you have to sign.
Speaking of confidentiality agreements,
tell me
Boong Bong, just real quick. I know it's a romance novel, howmevers. He really tells her all about Team 52 and where all the secrets are hidden so fucking fast.
Immediately.
So fast. Everybody like, what do you do for work? And he's like, no, there's no cover. Here's what we do for work. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because, you know, she's his friend, his treehouse friend.
His fated mate. Well, but the other thing was, I feel like his colleagues did not have the correct reaction. All of them were like, Lachlan.
Yeah, all of them were like, we haven't seen you with a lady before. You sure are softer than usual. Like, you gotta ask me at least like 3 times for me to give up the secrets. She didn't even ask.
No.
She was like, what do you do for work? I mean, it was easy.
It was.
I'm just kidding. I don't give up the secrets.
She never does. She won't even give them to me. It makes sense. So then they're talking to this dude, and he thinks to himself, oh my gosh, she's been through so much in the past couple of days. I'm taking advantage of a woman. Oh, no.
He's not wrong. Like,
yes, he's wrong.
It's clearly a trauma response that she's leapt upon him like a spider monkey and is just grinding up against him in front of a cafeteria of strangers. Like, that is not a normal reaction.
Be a trauma response. Fine.
I think it was good of him to think of the fact that she'd just been through this incredible ordeal.
Totally.
And maybe would later regret this.
So he goes from literally like holding her down by her hips on his lap / cock because he doesn't want her to get up even in front of a colleague.
Yes.
To being like, whoa, I need to take 7 steps back. And then she's like, she turns around and he's like, well, gosh, I'm going to offer you a handshake and it was really nice to see you again. And like, don't let this slow you down and I'm not going to pat your butt on the way out. And she's like, hi, were you here?
Yeah, she says, were you here like 2 minutes ago? It's funny.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And he's like, yeah, I totally was. And she's like, okay, cool, because I want to kiss you again. And he's like, oh, she doesn't play any games. There's no games with this one. And then he's like, I can't offer you anything. And she's like, I'm not asking for anything past the night, bro. And then she says, if you don't want me, just say so.
I'm used to not being wanted.
So good.
LOL. Hottest redhead in history, 3 PhDs. Okay.
Yeah,
like, just because your parents are shitbags doesn't mean no one's ever wanted to make out with you.
Right? Like, poor Lars, you know? Blue balls for
right, exactly. Yeah. Lars wanted you 15 minutes ago. Jesus Christ.
And so he's like, don't you dare think it's about what? And then he grabs her and he kisses her super hard. And then he brings her back. And he's like, it's not about that. And then he says that he just doesn't have time for her. And
no, he has missions. You know.
No, but she hears, I don't have time for you. And she's immediately like, okay, great. Awesome. I know what that means. I'm going to fuck off and I'm never going to bother you again.
Totally.
And then as she's walking away, he's like, I did trigger a childhood trauma. Because her parents were always saying how much they didn't want her and how little time they had for her. And so he feels bad. And now we're in Vegas because it's time for her to sleep before going home.
I thought this whole book that he lived in Vegas and commuted to Area 51, which would be fucking bonkers.
Is that not how
it's like 100 miles away?
No, I know, but then what? I am still under that impression.
There was at the end they do it in his room at Area 52.
Yeah,
that he must stay at. So I don't think he commutes on a daily basis. I think he like stays there all week.
You think he has like a pad that he can use for leave, but then like in between missions or whatever else.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think like during the week, like the work week, he stays on base, and then on the weekends he goes to his apartment in Vegas. That's sense. What I think.
That would make sense
because I like this bothered me the whole book. I was like, is he commuting? All the like that's nuts.
All 8 of them commuting.
Yeah, and because on like dirt roads Vegas. Too. Like it's not like a highway goes like right up to the gate. Like that's nuts.
Well, but they do have that jet copter. You know?
Oh, do you think he's right? Do you think he's flying the jet copter?
Yeah,
do you think the jet copter goes around and picks up everybody every day for work?
Jet copter carpool.
That would be super fun. I would love it. That was how Prince Joe got to work that time.
That's true.
That jet copter came and he was on his fishing boat.
Down.
God, I love
And
Prince
he
Joe.
just, I love Prince Joe. What a wacky book.
What a book.
Loved
Anyways,
it.
this
Okay.
is this year's Veterans Day military romance
That's
book.
right. And it is equally wacky with better
Yes.
sex. There you go.
The sex was good. Let's get there.
Sex was hot.
Let's get to it.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to try to speed through some of these because I want to
action
get on
scenes,
every detail.
There's
but,
so much
you know,
action scenes.
There's so many. So listen, she's in her room and she's like, I hate my life. Nobody wants me. I'm going to go home to my cold fish trout mom and like nobody. And so I'm going to fall asleep on my couch right after she thinks to herself, I'm going to make the most of my time in Vegas. She then just like crashes on her couch. Cool, man. So she wakes up to like a pew, pew, pew that happens in her bed. It goes in the sheets and she's like, what's happening? And these men are in the dark and they're like, oh, she's not even here. Oh no, what are we going to do? And she's like, oh noes, they're here for me. And so she like crawls to a balcony and it's dark and she unlocks it and stuff. And then they turn on all the lights and they're like, there she is. And so this bish, this scientist, she suddenly becomes
Scales down this.
she like parkours her way
down like a
off
casino.
the balcony into the next balcony and then like keeps on going until she lands on a glass roof of the casino. And then she just like tries to like scramble away. Meanwhile, the dudes are right behind her doing a parkour down the balconies and also going down there.
If I'm ever in this situation, if you're a paramilitary man that is going to rescue me, I need you to know that if the boys came to my room to come find me and the option was jump balcony onto casino roof, like, and later you're like, ooh, I wonder if she got away by jumping off balcony to another balcony and then scaling down to the glass roof of the casino. No, I did go with those boys. Like, you don't have to waste time looking, like I did say. Erin's hands are up. I'm going with you boys. I'm not going to try.
I don't have the grip strength.
That is
Where did she
far
get the grip
scarier
strength?
than getting shot by those other guys. Like leaping from balcony to balcony to like glass roof and like sliding down the side.
Jesus.
Terrifying.
Oh
Terrifying.
my God. So she's a fucking mountain goat. And then we cut to Joe and his comms guy is like, there's a disturbance at the...
Do you mean Lachlan?
Shmanishan, what'd I say?
He said Joe.
No.
You had Prince Joe on the mind.
I always, every day probably.
Yep.
So Lachlan is like, oh no, we got to get to that, whatever casino that was. And so then they get there in less than 30 seconds, I swear to fucking God, because they're like still on the roof. I don't know what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the radio they get is like, hey, she's currently on the roof being chased by boys. And he's like at his house, right?
He's at at an off-strip bar with all the boys.
But I mean, and he lives close to there too. Like everything's real close, but still.
But yeah. So anyway, he zooms in there. He does have a ninja. Mm-hmm. Did Erin recognize this bike?
A ninja motorcycle?
Yeah, is that what that was?
That is a motorcycle. I didn't catch the brand. I was listening to it at this point. But he did vroom up on a motorcycle. Yeah. Ninja is a type of motorcycle, yes.
Thank you. So then he does somehow get up to the place where he can access the roof.
Rides that motorcycle right up the side of the wall
completely.
of the thing.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Batman did that one time.
I saw that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
grappling hook.
Lachlan took notes. Mm-hmm. So he and the guys are up there and he's like, get your hands off of that lady. She's the hottest lady in the whole wide world. And she's the perfect size for me. And they're like, one of the bad guys is over there. And so long story short, Lachlan does grab that man with his cyborg arm and like hold him up way off the ground and like do a throttle on him.
Cyborg arm.
With the cyborg arm. Yeah. And then
I'm going to add that to kinks for 2022. Cyborg arm.
Cyborg arm. Yes. Yeah, I got to start writing these things down. Jesus. So then she starts to do a topple off the roof. Okay. And his first and only reaction is to crouch and then do a flying leap at her so that he can run into her midair and push her out far enough so that they both land in a pool instead of on the concrete.
Right.
And this whole thing was magnificent and bonkers and just redonkulous. So they come up sputtering and stuff, and then he's like, all right, I'm not taking any more chances. You're staying with me tonight. So she goes back to his place. Oh, and, well, we have to take a few moments for safety with Erin, because when they get out to the front...
no issues with this scene.
What? She is in shorty shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh, the motorcycle ride back?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I thought you meant the whole thing on the rooftop, and I was like, nope, seemed sound to me.
That's obviously legit.
But do not get on a motorcycle without the appropriate gear. She did wear a helmet.
Great.
But she was wearing shorts. And I can say, as a woman who learned her lesson the hard way, by being in a motorcycle accident wearing
at
a
like
skirt.
10 miles per hour.
It was, and it hurt real bad.
Yeah.
We were going like 10 miles an hour, and boy, do I still feel how that ground felt. It was rough.
God.
Don't do it.
I cannot imagine.
Don't do it.
No, well, she did. Okay. And so then he gets her back and he puts her in his shirt for bed. And he is very into how she looks in his giant shirt.
Boys love when you wear just a shirt. Bill Compton loved it when Sookie wore just a Mickey Mouse shirt. And Lachlan loves it when Rowan
that Tweety
wears
Bird shirt.
His t-shirt. Oh, yeah, it was a Tweety Bird shirt.
There's one of those, too. Yeah.
I got confused because in the book, she does wear both.
Yeah. I know. So he wakes up in the morning, okay? And she's draped over him. And then he's like, yeah, it was weird, reader. I did start out of the bed. But then I came to check on her at one point, and she was having a nightmare. And then she grabbed my wrist and she said, don't go. Don't. And so, And so he climbed into bed with her. And now she's like octopused onto him. And it's great.
And then she wakes up and she's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? And he's like, you begged me to stay.
He's like, it's my bed. And also, you invited me.
Yeah. Hot.
I mean, hot. So then she starts tracing her hands all over his body and doing an abs. And she's like, you must have 0% body fat. Trace. And he's like, Sookie, don't. No. She's like, Rowan. God damn it. Rowan. Yeah. And then she just pounces. Like, just hops onto straddling him, starts kissing him, and they do this big makeout. It says he loses all of his, not inhibitions, the other ones, not morals, the things that are connected to both
reservations.
Those the ones, yeah. He loses all of his reservations. Thank you, Erin. And they're about to do it because she doesn't have underwear on. And then, knock. What?
I love the idea of like they're about to do it because she doesn't have any underwear on.
I just say
if she had been wearing underpants, this would have been right out. But because she's free balling it, we're gonna get right in there.
Yeah. Sounds right. But then knock. And Blair is there with all her stuff. She, like, leaps off of him, and he's like, Rowan. And she's like, don't worry about it. It was the heat of the moment, and you're too much of a risk for me anyway. And now they're back at B-52s. So they go back to the base. What now?
B-52s is so funny.
No! Did I say B-52s?
It was funny. It was good.
I saw base. And then I think it just happened.
No, I love it. B-52s.
Back at the B-52s. So now they go through this theory about how the Dorset people started working with metals they found from a meteorite.
Sure.
And then within, reasonable amount of time, they went from bow and arrow hunting to creating a whole device that can transform a man into a murder yeti so that they could go hunt walruses.
Right.
Easier. That's the theory. And frankly, I think it's sound.
Without aliens. Because sometimes in this book, people are like, aliens? And everybody's like, no, not ancient aliens. They didn't
Absolutely
exist.
Not. Don't even come at me with that,
Stop
you
it.
guys. The Egyptians built those pyramids by their fucking selves, they say.
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, now, all of a sudden, the artifact is stolen. It's gone. Alarm,
Gone.
alert. Oh no, oh no.
Wow.
Yeah, there's 3 options. Turns out it's the airman with the sick kid and a lot of medical bills. You know, tracks.
Her kid has hep C. It's all
Wow, this whole backstory was incredible because
we needed it.
Like
we
17.
needed it for the end for Rowan to like decide that she loves herself.
It's true. No, but I'm just talking about like the actual story of the girl. She's like 17 years old and she's somehow gone from like acting out to like hard intravenous drug user to liver failure within like 2 years. And that's like hard to do. I don't know. My dad had liver cirrhosis and it took him a long time to get there. And then he got a shunt put in that was only supposed to last 6 months. It did last him over a decade, which was a fucking miracle. It had nothing to do with the shunt. I'm just saying that like,
I think it depends on the person. I think you can get there. I think you
fair.
can do it if you try hard and believe in yourself.
It really seemed like she was tenacious. So now they have to go back to Vegas because they have to intercept that plane. Except when they intercept the plane, they like don't check around the back.
Just move past. Just move past it. Just push past it.
They were like, yeah, we got there. But then there was a back door in the plane that was open.
There's an emergency exit.
She got away.
Apparently the emergency exits are at the front, sides, and in the rear.
Oh, this killed me, Jen. It was so good. It made me so happy. Okay. So now they go back to, and he's like, and now we gotta go find it still, but also, Rowan, I don't know why you're in Vegas. It seems like there's no reason for you to be back in Vegas right now, Rowan.
Just go home now.
Sure, man. Anyway, so she goes to a different team member's house. And it's in the MGM Grand, and she's supposed to be super safe there, except that a bunch of murder men do come in red balaclavas, and they abduct her with ease.
Oh boy. It's July, folks. That means new Bonkers Book Club selections. And let me tell you, our cup runneth over. First, there's a historical smorgasbord. You get the entire box set of Nicola Davidson's Surrey SFS series. If you're not familiar, that stands for Sexual Freedom Society. This box set includes 5 ridiculously spicy historicals, with a variety of gender pairings and trios, and so much more that makes my heart sing. Then, Jenny and Katie are offering up one of their all-time favorites, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. That's the mafia book where the heroine accidentally sets the hero's house on fire and then makes sure her mouth is full of strawberries because she knows he's extremely allergic. Best wedding kiss ever, right? And then we decided to do a little bonus. We wanted to see if audiobooks are something you'd like as part of book club. And Kay Lorraine and Meg Ann have a series called The Mate Games. You get to listen to Book 1, Obsession. It's a paranormal reverse harem that's done with duet narration. And the cast of narrators is insanely good. So, Joybringers have tons to look forward to. If you want to join, check out our website. The link is in the show notes.
So now there's a car chase, everyone.
Oh, God.
There's
so much of a
car chase, to the point that she's like, oh my God, if they get me to the second location, I'm dead. And like, Rowan, you're right, you know?
Yeah.
But then she looks back and she sees 2 black SUVs and she's like, it could only be the B-52s. So they're like zooming up.
Love
Shack, love shack, la 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 shack, gonna put you in the love shack. So they're like doing a pew pew and a bang bang, and she decides that she's gonna leap on the driver so that she can like make him do
a swerve and they can know what car they're in or something. Listen, this car chase goes on for a while, and in the middle of it, she's a smart cookie who puts on her seatbelt. So when they crash, she's good. She's fine. The door gets wrenched open, and all of a sudden, Lachlan's there, and
he's big mad.
He looks so scary mad.
Because she did jump on that driver, and it was unsafe.
Yeah.
From his perspective.
Sure. And, like, get it. I understand. But also, she did a great job.
Yeah. She did great.
Yeah. So then they get back to the house, and he's, like, fucking mad. And she wants to help because she's like, I have so many PhDs. I can help you find this murder yeti. I know I can't. Or, like, the artifact at this point. Sorry, everyone. And he's like, absolutely not. No way. And then she's like, I need this. I need this to my core. And then as they're doing this like super awkward, weird, like bare their souls to each other type of situation in front of their whole team.
Yep.
Because she's like, no one's ever cared about me before. And he's like, I care about you. And then she's like, oh my gosh, it just feels so different now that somebody cares. And then everybody else is like, we have to fuck off immediately. I have so many, like, clothes to wash and stuff. I just have to go.
Yeah, a lot of 1920s laundry to do.
Oh, so many laundries to do in the 1920s.
So much laundry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So now she's going to shower and he's going to order takeout. But the most important thing is that when she gets out of that shower in his robe, it comes over him that he could have lost her. He could have lost her so many times. I think the most important
thing is that when he orders Chinese takeout, he does order it from a place where he's already done background checks and vetted all of the drivers.
I'm obsessed.
There are certain things that I was like, you shouldn't order takeout, because what if the person who comes to the thing is like, what if they're watching your place and they knock out that guy and then they're carrying the bag when they get to, and I'm like, but vetting the drivers would not help in that situation. And then also, you didn't even look at the back of the plane, bro. Like, why are you running background checks on Chinese takeout drivers? If the takeout situation goes sideways, it's not going to be because a guy who is a bad guy got a legit job at the Chinese restaurant, hoping that someday you'd call the number and get Chinese food from them. It's going to be a guy that knocks that guy out on his way to your house.
Yeah.
Bro.
It has to be. But now, she is naked in that robe. Okay?
I'm just a lawyer, but, you know... Jesus Christ.
And so he's like, I could have lost you. Oh, noes. And so she's like, Lachlan, are you okay? And he starts stalking over to her like the tiger-eyed
This is so good. This was... The dialogue was fantastic, I thought.
It was so good. Yeah.
It was good.
So she says, are you okay? And he says, no.
Nope.
And then he just like hits his knees in front of her and starts skimming his hands up her legs.
She's like, I'm naked.
What are you doing? I'm naked under here. And he's like, I'm so extra hard right now.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, sort of point, lady. So he's like, I need to see you. I need to see you're okay. All right, Lachlan, like, you didn't need to show me your work, man. You can just, you don't need to make up a random ass excuse. You need to show your work.
I love that.
So then she does hit that couch, you know? And he's about to go to town on her, cunnilingus style. And then he does, you know? My note
there was like some dialogue here that I super loved, and now I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember
it. It was so good, though.
Oh, no. Hold on. I'll find it. Okay. I searched takeout, so it might... here we go.
Lick.
Okay, here we go. So, oh my God, it's so good.
Man, the word lick is in this book, like, more than you would think.
Yeah, no, don't choose lick, choose takeout. So then, I'm naked under here. And then it's like his gaze met hers, and she stared at him straight, direct. And she says, this is probably a bad idea. And he says, I think it's an excellent idea. She says, you told me you didn't have time for this.
That's it.
For me. And he says, I lied. And then she says, "You said you had nothing to offer. Changed my mind." "What?" Her voice rose. "You can't just change your mind." And then he says, "I can when I see you get kidnapped. When I see you dangling off a fucking building or diving on drivers of speeding vehicles." She licked her lips, her gaze warming. "Lachlan,
And that's
I
what
need
he
to
says.
see you. I need to see you.
I just love it. She's like, "But you said all these things." She's like, "Because I was lying to you. Like, it was
Right.
all lies."
God.
Just, man, let me go down on you. Like, what's your deal?
Right. Like,
Loved
I
it.
super want to make you come. Then he says things like, "You're so beautiful."
Good stuff.
And it's great. So then she is just about, tastes so good, Rowan. I could stay here all night. Listen, it's good stuff. So he is just about to make her come like a freight train. All right. Except
Choo-choo.
ding dong.
The Chinese delivery
Chinese
man
taker is there, and
who has
she-
been vetted
And background check.
background checked.
Okay.
And then, but she's like close, and she makes wraps her. No, my light.
No,
She
she
wraps her
doesn't
legs
do
around
that.
it.
No,
Yeah,
she
she does.
doesn't do that. Oh, yeah,
she
yeah.
does.
Sorry, wraps her legs around. I thought you were saying she was closing her robe. I'm so sorry, Erin. Go on.
No, she
tell
like
me everything.
traps him. She like traps
Yeah.
his face on her vagina.
Because this is now like the twice or third time that somebody has interrupted them at like the moment. And so she goes, "No!" and like grabs him and like has him in a vice grip with her legs. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm going to take
Yeah,
care
and
of
he's like,
you."
"Well, there's somebody at the door though, so like,
yeah.
let's get this
And-
orgasm going."
I know.
So
and
good.
she's like, "Oh my God, they might hear me scream." And he's like, "Then let them hear
So
you
scream.
scream."
He says, "So scream then."
Scream.
So good.
Oh my God. And then she does.
Uh-huh.
And then he gets that food, ignores that food. How dare he? Picks her up.
You can't
And
do food and sex at the same time.
you're right. No, and it's better to do sex before food. Fuck first.
Yes. He's hungrier for sex than he is for
Yeah.
Chinese food.
Yeah, he got a taste of
Especially
that.
Chinese food. You don't want to eat that first.
It's heavy.
You don't know
Yeah.
how it's going to sit, you know?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Vegas Chinese takeout, that's sus.
Oh, God.
You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, agreed.
It, like, he did the background checks on the drivers, but he did not check the Yelp reviews, you know?
No, absolutely.
know.
And he certainly couldn't cross-check it with her gastrointestinal system, you know?
No,
He hadn't had the opportunity. He
Yeah.
would have, if he could have, though.
Right.
But the important
But
thing
then
is
it's
that he
the
picks her up
sex.
and he does throw her on that bed and then he does a big naked and she's like, "Oh my God, you know, you're so hot." And then he gets the condom and then it starts missionary. And then after she comes like that, he pulls out and
Flips
she's
her right
like,
over.
No. And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm not done with you yet." Flips her onto her stomach and then like rams back into her. Wait, first he shoves a couple fingers up there first.
Okay, all right, listen.
No,
Mel.
it's great.
You're making
is
it
it?
less sexy.
Every-
Shoves a couple fingers up there.
Well, in my mind's eye, it was better.
All right, you guys, it's good.
It's great.
It's good sex. All right,
He
what
might
happens
roar.
next?
I don't know.
She definitely screams
Oh,
loud.
God, she's such a screamer. Like, girl after her own heart. So then, she... Sorry, I have to get through all of my sex notes. It's gonna take a minute. Okay, so the next morning, over coffee, she forces him to tell her about his traumas.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of traumas.
Yeah.
He did blow himself up with a grenade
He did do that.
because he's bad at grenades.
Right.
Listen,
It's what happened.
it's what
You
happened.
can't argue
He's
with it.
like, I did the first grenade. That was a bad idea. And
Right.
then I went ahead and did a second grenade.
Second one.
And then somebody
And then I did
tackled
get
me.
my arm.
And then I didn't throw that grenade
I couldn't
far
throw
enough.
it.
And then it did blow me up.
Right.
And I think his friend died in the process or something.
It was a sad. You know.
He blames himself, blah, 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 blah.
He's got
now,
tattoos of their
cyborg
initials.
arm. Here's what I want to
Cyborg
know.
arm.
Here's something that's
Tell me.
important to me.
Yeah.
When he's playing her like a bagpipe,
Yeah,
Highlander
yeah.
finger banging style, is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the cyborg arm or is that the
I'm
real arm?
wondering.
Because
I'm
I
wondering.
like the idea of a cyborg.
I don't hate it. It's all I'm saying.
But why didn't they specify for me?
I don't know. Because
Maybe they were
she-
worried about turning people off with a cyborg hand,
Which
but
is silly.
that's crazy.
You'll just find your right audience. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about the ones who never come
Love
back?
a cyborg. Didn't know.
Right. But now there's this disturbance at the Venetian, okay? It is a murder Yeti ice lady, and she is making a ruckus over there.
It is that airman who did steal that artifact.
Yeah. And Rowan somehow convinces him that she should go again, which I'm very confused about how this keeps happening.
Well, I remember this one that she was like, I want to go. And he was like, no, that's crazy. And Blair's like, well, if we're all going to go, it's probably better that she be with us and not alone.
Oh, yeah. And she does the emotional blackmail on him. She's like, I need to help for like all the people who died. And he's like, oh, no, I understand survivor's guilt. She just made me talk about it. So now the creature is Airman Kowalski. And then she does immediately, she gets tranked, doesn't work. Somehow, Callie fucked up the dosage.
Lars was apparently a soft boy, which is fine.
Lars is a beautiful soft boy.
Yeah.
And then she makes a wall of ice. She gets real mad. She makes a whole wall of ice.
She Elsas.
She does. She Elsas them into a corner, okay? And they can't get out. And so then she goes out the front door again. And Rowan's like, oh, no, I'm here with my very own SUV still. I'm going to go after her. So she starts driving after her. And then
she gets kidnapped again.
Not quite. No. Not yet.
Okay.
No. So.
Oh, no, that's
exactly. All right. So now she's on the phone with Lachlan and she's like, okay, I'm doing this. Track me so that you can get here soon. And then she does a big screech because the creature is in front of her and has seen her and has like stopped. And so then here is my bone that I have to pick. All right. It says that as this murder Yeti is staring her down in the face, it says, ice ran through her veins. There are at least 2, I think 3 occasions in which a character is looking straight at this murder Yeti who can create ice and flash freezes people and says ice ran through her veins, but it's just like an emotional ice. And I thought she was being flash frozen in that moment. Fair. It's very confusing. It's a bone. Yes. It's a big bone. I have it. I picked it. We can move on now. So then a bunch of soldiers clad in gray come and they're trying to get at this Yeti and they grab her out of the car. Oh my God. This is when Lachlan shows up. Okay. And one of the guys grabs onto Rowan and he like takes her behind a building. He does one of those, you know, and Lachlan goes after her while everybody else is dealing with all the rest of the soldiers. And he like goes out to, you know, do a pew pew and get the guy. And she decides to like try and like kick him in the balls or headbutt him. She tries to do a
while he's got a gun pointed at her head.
Sick.
Yeah.
Solar plexus. Wait.
Oh, it's a sing.
Sing. Thank you.
No, scrying.
No, scrying. Yeah. So she tries to do a sing on him. And at that moment, Lachlan is also shooting the man. But the man gets a shot off at her head. Lachlan thinks that she is like down for the count, been shot in the head through the brain. But it was just a graze. Oh my God.
And it bleeds a lot.
Boy, does it bleed. Yeah. So then when he gets home, what can he do other than get her bandaged up and then fuck her against a wall? You know? What is a man to do except for that?
Well, she was in danger again. He gets very horny when she's in danger.
God. Yeah, he doesn't want to lose any time when she's in danger. Oh my God. I forgot about this. 2 lines that just kind of killed me to death. One of them was, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to make love to you and make us both feel better. And I was like, hate it. And then
Mel hates it when people make love.
I do. I hate it. I really don't like it. And then he's talking about like whether or not they should have a condom. And like they do the whole, here was when I was tested and I haven't been anyone since, burp, 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 burp. But then when he like does the double check, which I appreciate on principle, he says, are you sure you're okay with this? And she's like, what?
Ungloved.
And he's like, me ungloved? I hate it. Boy, do I hate it.
I was like, I was like folding clothes or something.
No, now.
And I was like, ungloved.
Write down that's a hard limit for me. Somebody saying me ungloved, write it down.
I don't mind when romance characters make the decision to like not have a condom if they talk about it first. You know, I think that's fine.
I'm great with that.
That was the best part. It was the me ungloved question mark
Me
that was really the issue.
ungloved.
Oh, I hate it. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Afterwards, they talk more about her parents and how they never gave a fuck. And he says, he starts doing like a kiss up on her, like, chest or something. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to worship every part of you, Rowan. I'm going to kiss and caress every inch of you until you understand how amazing you are. I mean,
Didn't hate it.
I like a man with a plan, you know? So now she realizes that all of these sightings and attacks and ruckuses have all been around water or ice. Weird. So she's like, let's go to the next ice fixture in Vegas. It's the skating rink, obvi. So they go and they're like, merp, merp, no monster, except now monster. Hello, monster. So that's literally what happens.
I know, it was just funny.
So then he's like, Rowan, stay here, don't move. Right? You're going to listen to everything I say, he said earlier. You can come, but you have to listen to everything I say. She does a big nod, like Erin's doing right now. Erin's doing a great impression of Rowan. And he's like, stay here. And then he goes off to, like, find the murder yeti. And then flashbang, look over his shoulder, and Rowan's on the middle of the fucking ice, facing down the yeti. Okay? And he's like, God bless America. What's happening right now?
No, I read a Goodreads review that was like, I didn't like this book because I didn't like Lachlan because he was so bossy and so mean to her all the time. And I was like,
What?
but she was a big dummy all
She's
the
a
time.
huge dumbhead.
Yeah, she shouldn't have nodded. She should have been like, I'm not going to listen to you.
No.
Anyway,
Don't put
so she's
any
facing
faith
down
in
the
me.
Yeti. We need to pick it up.
Okay, there's a copter that comes.
Yes.
And Yeti gets spooked, picks up Rowan, tries to fuck off. So then he does run after that Yeti. And listen, things happen. There's another soldier. There's a bang and a swoosh.
There's like
and
French
then
boys, then there's like
there's so
hillbilly
many
boys.
French
The
accents.
French boys keep being like, merde!
Yeah, oh, merde!
Merde! Fuck! Merde!
It's true. Anyway, she and Airman Kowalski, the creature, do go toppling off another building. And so he's like, "Grr," and he starts like running down the stairs, which I found very funny. I don't know why. I was just like, oh no, she went plummeting to her doom. And you're just like, I have to go in a corkscrew fashion all the way down the stairs.
I didn't even think about it, but it is funny.
Okay. So it's all right though, because Airman Kowalski like did a bear hug on her and saved her. It's fine. And so then they're on the ground and she's like, help me, like through her fangs and stuff. And she's like, help you? Huh? Airman Kowalski? And she's like, Amy. And she's like, your name is Amy? Oh man, spelled like my sister, by the way. There's not the accent, but it's still spelled the same way. Anyway, so then speaking of accents, a bunch of French bros pull up.
Wait, your sister has like a weird French accent on her name?
No, she just has like so it's Aimee, and there's like an accent aigu over the first E. So it's technically Amay, I guess.
Oh. What's
That's
her
how
middle name?
Sheridan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, speaking of accents,
Sure.
like I said before,
Merde! Fuck! Merde! Fuck! Constantly. Does France not have a word for fuck?
I don't know. I loved it. So he's like, oh, bad move, chickadee, at her.
He doesn't say that. He does not
No, he
say
says
that.
chickadee.
Does Melody Family. All right,
I'm
yes.
so sorry. They get Airman Kowalski into a truck and they drive her away. And at some point, Rowan gets a gun and she starts like shooting at a van, you know?
Yes.
So it's serious business. Now they have to go after that thing and they go to a warehouse that they find. And he's like, stay here. And she's like, no problem. Love it. Can't wait. Big thumbs up over here. Big nods.
Will do.
And then they're all doing a fight with all the soldiers. And she starts racing over to Airman Kowalski because she sees one of the French bros poking at her with a knife. And so she's like, not my Metlac. You don't treat my Metlac like that. So she runs over there
And then, listen, I don't know a ton about hand-to-hand combat. I know a teensy bit about guns, but I do know that if you have a handgun, you do not stick it directly on the back of a person's head because they will just turn around and grab it from you. They're just gonna reach for it, you dick nose. Anyway, he doesn't do that, but he does turn around with a knife, and then she shoots him in the thigh, which is
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight, but also don't shoot people in the thigh. Go ahead and aim for center mass.
Yeah. You gotta try to inflict some actual damage, because otherwise they're gonna do exactly what he did and get up and attack you again, you ding-dong. Anyway, so he does do that attack on her, and that makes Erin Kowalski, the loyal Metlack, really fucking pissed. And so she finally breaks her chains, and she picks up Rowan, and she fucks off so hard. She's just taking her package.
Again, there's so many endings.
I know, it's so good.
Is this the last one, though?
It is, almost. Sort of.
Okay.
So Lachlan's like, "Wah, where's my bitch? I put her right there, and she's dematerialized again. God damn it." And they're like, "I think that Yeti's going to the hospital, because that's where her daughter is." And so then they go to that hospital. So now we're there with Rowan, and she's cold because this Yeti situation, I didn't describe it very well. It is like a suit of armor with ice and like talons, you know, so it's all icy. It's not furry at all. Anyway, Yetis can be whatever I want them to be though, listener, and you can fuck off. So then the Grey Boys get there. Merde!
Fuck!
And then they start getting her, but then the B-52s get there, and Lachlan's like running down the I'm gonna love shack you, I'm gonna love shack. So then bullets are whizzing at him, and he ducks into a door, but then out of the fucking ceiling, the rest of the B-52s come in there, and it literally says, kick, period, jab, period, cross,
punch,
period. It's so good. Anyway, they do win that fight, okay? And Erin Kowalski's in a net, because the bad boys put her in there, maybe? So then they're like, relax. Ooh, Mrs. Kowalski.
I've got an idea. Tranquilizer gun.
Right?
More darts this time.
No. She is gonna meditate through this labor. You know? That's her plan. Or Rowan, she's like, Erin Kowalski, you love me. Do relax enough, and we're gonna rip this out of your chest. And so they do, and she does. And then she's like, I love my daughter. I would do anything for her.
And that's when Rowan...
But she meatloafs it hard, Erin. She says, I would do anything for my daughter, but I will not, you know, I had second thoughts about betraying my country, because she didn't actually hand over the device.
Which, hot.
I mean, hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Rowan is like, wait a minute.
Oh my God.
Parents are supposed to love their children.
What?
No matter what they do. Even if they screw up. And my parents have never loved me. And that's not my fault. That's my parents'
fault.
And I'm great. They should love me because I'm amazing. And Lachlan's like, yes, they should love you because you're amazing. And she's like, I am amazing.
Yeah.
And then
look at this epiphany.
And then they have like sex, and I thought it was in front of everyone.
And then he says, hey, hold this ancient artifact device that could turn you into a Yeti, and all of these bad guys are after. Can you just hold it for a sec and, like, sit over here? I'm going to go do fucking nothing.
Sure.
With the police
and then she
or something.
disappears with the art because she gets kidnapped again. No, we can't. We can't.
The only thing I want to say one thing. There's a fight, okay? And at the end of the fight, he's got, like, a scalpel in his neck. She does profess her love to him because she thinks he's dying. They do a big kiss. He invites her to, like, live in Vegas and be his forever. And there's an old lady in that room who's just been watching all of this happen. And they're about to hobble out, and the old lady goes, sir, young man. And he's like, yes, what can I do for you? And she's like, your girl is amazing, and she's been through a lot. So what I want you to do for me, the old lady, is to kiss the hell out of her once again, and do not put your shirt back on. For me. For the old lady.
So I can watch.
So good.
It's pretty good.
And then she moves there and she gets a job as a schmacademic, and she starts studying all the things she wants to.
She wants to be an archaeologist now, which is fucking nuts because archaeology doesn't matter because the government has secrets about what archaeology really is. Why are you getting a PhD in that, ma'am?
Everything they're teaching you is
teaching you
false.
lies. That was the point of the book.
The whole point of the book. Like, you can find out how to use a shovel in other ways, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and we have that really hot chapter that makes me want to read Seth's book. And then, listen, it's hot and it's over and they're together and forever. And she moves in with him and they do sex in the base of the B-52s. They love Hackett right up.
Watching. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And now we're done. So, Erin, what's your lady love?
Remember last week when I didn't have a lady love for the X-Hex?
Totally.
It was that this season of What We Do in the Shadows is the best season of that show or mini shows. It's so good. Every single episode I've been like, this is the best episode of this show. I can't believe that it's so good. And then it got really good, like the second to last episode. And then the last episode was good. Everything was good. It was so good all the way through. And this is a show you've raved about every single season. Yes. And my personal, fanfic of Nandor and Guillermo, I feel like the heat is picking up between them. I feel like the sexual tension is picking up between them. It may just be me.
Doesn't matter.
But I can feel it.
That's your truth.
Especially in the finale, the last 3 episodes. I can really feel it between them. I think it may happen.
Whoa.
Anyway, watch it.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is external keyboards and external mouses and ergonomic cushions. Because I only have a laptop, and so I was hunched over like the Christmas crone, except not hot and with not as great eyebrows, and everything hurt. And so now I can comfortably type and look straight ahead and sit up straight.
I just got the reference to the Christmas crone. It was delayed, but I just got when you said eyebrows, I was like,
what?
Oh,
what?
yeah, she did have fantastic eyebrows. I'm sorry, my dog. We're recording this on Halloween night, and my dog's just noticed, and so it's never going to stop.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, and I got some pads for my forearms and my wrists and stuff. Ooh, it's nice over here. Treat your body right. With some accoutrement for your office. That's mine. All right. You can find us on all the places. We're on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms. Twitter is at Heaving_Bosoms. We're on Facebook. We've got a group. It's the Geriatric Friendship Cult. We have this kick-ass website that will give you all of that and way more. That's heavingbosoms.com. That's where you can also link to the Patreon, which is really great, in my humble opinion. You get a lot more Erin and Melody, which is super fun. And
the videos.
Which, the video of this one...
be particularly good, because I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Erin was doing some physical comedy over there, and it was nice. And then also, listen to Bonkers Romance, my new podcast, over there, at another place on your feed.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. So...
keep being a badass, and... love yourself as much as you love us, ungloved.
Oh, no! I hate it. All right, bye.
Bye!
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.